we are all literally all filmmakers. We are all gambling. Everybody jumped on the gang train.
Yeah.
Everybody was making gang film. Everybody jumped on the comedy. So everybody just jumping on whatever everybody thinks is the cash cow. We're jumping on it.
Okay, welcome to another interesting episode of It's a Wrap by Pulse. My name is Dami, Dawson, and I like to have very good conversations, real conversations with real people, as far as film is concerned, because I'm a lover of film and I really want to see the industry grow. So any conversation that is centered around the industry growing, you'd see me there, right? Which is why we have a very interesting personality in the house today. The house sounds cliche now, in the studio, right? I refer to her as a simple storyteller. I think to a large extent, she tries to avoid complexity in her storytelling and just go straight to the point. I might be wrong, but then she's here today to prove me right or wrong, okay? Her name is, she's skillful, she's amazing, one of the best directors, one of my top 2 directors in Nigeria, and I'm not saying it because she's here. I said it before now, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, her name is Biodun Steven. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Great. How did you feel the intro?
Nice.
Good. I don't give it to everybody, but yeah.
I appreciate it.
Great. Thanks for coming around. Let's get into the conversation real quick. I started by saying a lot of people think that you are very simple in your storytelling. Now, is it a thing of intentionality, or are you trying to avoid, the complexities in storytelling? You just want to go straight to the point and let people know what's up?
I'm happy that we're in the simple storyteller phase.
Yeah.
I'm coming from quite a number of definitions before we're here.
Yeah.
I take human angle stories. I take a fraction of that and I break it into fragments. I feel like it's almost like taking a topic about maybe single parenthood, and there are so many other things, so many other stories attached to that one person. So I take just a fragment of that. And I feel like there is no reason, I also don't like distractions. There's no reason for me to add things that are not necessary. I feel like every scene must move the story forward. If the scene is not doing anything, it doesn't have any reason to be shot or to be even be in the film. So that is why it feels like it's simple, but they are like, the simple stories are discussing very complex human experiences. And I don't think in those moments you are looking to distract from the core of the story. As long as I can hold your attention for 90 minutes, that's the goal, for you to feel every single thing that the character is going through. And if you touch the film, then my job is done.
Great. I think that makes a lot of sense. And so you agree to some extent that simplicity in your storytelling is something. Because I feel like
I do not agree that it's simple. People just, again, the question is, what do people think is simple? What do people think is complex?
Okay, should I give you an example?
Yes.
All right, so a simple story would be like what you did with Mommy Wa. I think it was straight to the point. Anybody that would see it would understand what the story was about from the beginning to the end. The scenes and everything made up the entire story. So it was simple. Now, a complex story would be a story like, I'm going to use a Hollywood film to sort of compare now. So I'll do something like maybe, what's the name of this film with Viola Davis? What's the name of the film with Viola Davis?
Fences.
Yeah, Fences. Yeah, Fences with Viola Davis and Denzel Washington. Yeah. So it might look simple, but the old things that made up the film, there was some complexity that if you do not pay attention to everything, you might miss the entire point of the story. You understand? Yeah.
Again, I'm fueled by our Nigerian experiences. And so many times what I hear people are saying is they are trying to ask that you're trying to compare me with a culture that doesn't share a lot of similarities with our culture. So for instance, how a white man reacts when you say your wife has died is very different. I was watching CSI binge watching a few weeks ago, and they're telling somebody that somebody had been killed, and there's really no reaction. And you're asking yourself, are they wrong in that? That is exactly how, that's the culture. But if you tell a Nigerian that your neighbor, not even your family, has been killed, trust me, there is a reaction. And that is what makes us different. We go through the same experiences, but how we express those experiences are very different because we're from different cultures. And that is why some people would, look for things that are not amiss in the film. Again, I don't believe in subplot if particularly it's not doing anything. Every single thing for me has to move the story forward. If a subplot needs to be there, then it's because ultimately it's moving the story forward.
Good. Okay, now I got that. I think that is clear now, so we can move on. Right, now let's talk about the film space in Nollywood. I've had a number of conversations with people that are probably, in lack of a better word, maybe stakeholders or shareholders in this space. And there's a conversation around growth in the industry. I'm going to ask you, do you think that we are growing as an industry, as a film industry? Do you think that we're growing?
I think that we've grown massively.
Okay.
We've grown in storytelling. We've grown with the performances. We've grown in the quality of the film that we're putting out there that has spurred international collaborations. And I think that is a huge, and there's export, our it's no longer a matter of we're packing inside DVD and we're shipping it to, there's a demand globally for the Nollywood content. So I think that yes, do we still need to keep growing? Oh yes. I think that many times we are what's the English of this thing? You know how we take one small wing and we overblow that wing. And that wing overshadows every other thing that is important that we should be doing. I think that those for me is where we should sort of dial back down. Yes, it's good to sort of celebrate your wings, but every win is not really a win.
But then again, do you agree that a number of filmmakers in Nigeria are probably just, I mean, like you said, maybe the little win you're satisfied with it, but I feel, this is me now, I think a number of filmmakers in Nigeria are satisfied with certain status quo and not exactly pushing to do better in terms of their storytelling. I don't think our storytelling is there yet. I think few persons get it. I think some other persons don't get it. And I'm even talking more because I see some of these films make it to VOD platforms. And sometimes I want to understand the process. How did they get it to VOD platforms? If the process or if the storytelling is not there yet. And it might just be me because I could be a critic sometimes, like very critical for certain films. But that's because I want to understand the story you're telling, which is why the essence of simplicity comes in storytelling for people to understand. But what is your take on, I mean, do you think that a number of filmmakers, and I know you might want to be humble about it and not say because you're a director, you're a filmmaker too, but do you think that a lot of them are satisfied with where they are and maybe not doing more to expand in terms of what can we do better in terms of our storytelling or acting? I'll come to the actors, but the storytelling.
Do I think that every film that makes it on certain VODs shouldn't make it there? Of course. Do I understand the yardstick as to why they got there? I don't know. One thing is clear. I think that as filmmakers, we all have various reasons why we make films. I understand my purpose as to being a filmmaker. And that is why maybe by the grace of God, I excel in that space because I understand what I'm doing with my work. Nollywood is in Nigeria, it's largely built out of pocket. So of course, commercialization is very key. And one of the things I also say is it's almost like you open a shop out there and you're selling rice and fried stew. And you are making a lot of money. In another few months, somebody else open a store 10 meters away and sell the exact same thing because they feel like that's what's making money. And that's exactly how the business is. So somebody makes one comedy film and the film is we're all making comedy. Whether we, somebody says, oh, this is the camera that is, when they shot it on this camera, it was the best. And we're all trying to do that without understanding what were the reasons why certain choices were made for certain films, and which is perhaps why it was successful. Sometimes the actors, the tech involved in the film has nothing to do with success. Sometimes it was just the right time. Sometimes, the film is gamble. And so we are all literally all filmmakers, we are all gambling. And we're all thinking, okay, this is what they want. This is what they want to see. Let me just do it. Because again, ROI.
You can make money, right?
So for me, it's just very important that we all identify why we're making film. If you're making film for the money, then yes, I cannot question certain choices that you make, you know, in making the film. If you're making film purely for art, I can't question as well. I respect that. So I cannot say yes or no to what you're saying, but I just feel like it's very important that we understand why we're making films. If we want our film to travel, we need to live up to the expectations as to why it must travel. And not every razzle dazzle is travel worthy. You know, sometimes simple is travel worthy. So it just depends on what we're doing.
So you would agree that commercialization has affected or infiltrated the process and made it open to everybody and anybody to make films? I
think it's been a disease that has plagued us years from the Iweka Road days. It was a campus film if everybody jumps on the train. So exactly that's how it is. Everybody jumped on the gang train. Everybody was making gang film. Everybody jumped on the comedy. Everybody just jumping on whatever everybody thinks is the cash cow. We're jumping on it. Right now, there's a street thing that everybody's doing now. Everybody's jumping on it.
Would you jump on the street?
I have created a cinematic universe, which is always between the high and the low. And I think that is very fueled by my own experiences as a young kid, even to who I am now. Which is why films like Picture Perfect, Where There Life, there is a universe, which is what Muri and Co is, the same universe. And I'm very fascinated about how the high and the low, how they meet, midpoint, and they both need each other at some point. And I keep exploring that relationship in various ways, you know. So I'm not jumping on any train. I'm not trying to set any trend. I'm just trying to stay on my lane.
Okay, good. And I think you're winning in that lane. And talking about winning, you've done a number of films. A number of films. I was talking to you about the first split time we met, and that's a long time ago. I was on a set of a film, but I was just at the back doing my stuff. So you've done a number of films, and now would you agree that there's some films that you've done that you're probably not, you probably look at it now and be like, I don't think I did like 100% in this film?
Oh yes, I think that even for every single film, whether now or in the past, there are certain films that are like, waiting make me go do this film. And there are certain films that are like, I should have just said no. And there are certain films that I've done, like, if I have better budget, I would redo this film again. And a film like that is Big Love. My very first directorial debut was a film called Tiwa's Baggage. I liked the film. It was beautiful, very simple story. And I wanted to redo. So it's pretty much like a remake. Big Love is a remake of Tiwa's Baggage. So better told, better funding, and they were able to do it better. You get what I'm saying? So there's certain films like that I feel like, I really, really like this film. It wasn't well told because of one or two reasons. I can do it again and retell the story even better now.
Okay. Now, this will lead me to the question of critiquing in the industry. I know that's not a thing, first off, because I know a lot of people see it as an attack, first off, when you try to say what you think about a film. And I'll say this in all my interviews, that the only reason why I will talk about your film is because I pay to watch your film. And I think in all sense of, let's be, I deserve to talk about the film. If I buy something, if I don't like it, I should say what I think. And Nigerians see critiquing as an attack first. Now, what is your take on critiquing? As a filmmaker, someone who makes films, and people will go up on social and be like, oh, your film is not slapping, or this one is slapping. How do you respond to it? And do you take it as genuine feedback? Or what's the process when you're trying to assimilate or, taking these critiquings as they come?
I'm very big on feedback. Feedback from when I send the actor the script. I have decasted because you didn't give me feedback before, because it means that there's nothing in the script that sort of flagged at you. So I'm very big on feedback. I also understand how to filter. I know when a critic is a critic. I know when an opinion is an opinion. An opinion is when you tell me how you thought I should have told my story. That's an opinion. A critic is when you tell me, oh, there's a plot hole here, there's a disconnect here. So I understand what a critic is, I understand what a review is, I understand what an opinion, and what we have many times, our opinions. And so they don't hold water to me. But I read every single, like I go and search hashtag momiwa, hashtag sister review. I read everything. I want to know what I did wrong. I want to know what I didn't take. You know, I'm very big on feedback so that I can correct but I also know how to distill. You know, we have opinions, a whole lot of opinions.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, this will lead me to talking about the actors, because we talked about storytelling at some point. And also, I'm of the opinion, let me not say clear, I'm of the opinion that a number of actors should not, a number of people, I don't want to call them actors, a number of people in that space should not be in that space. And I'm talking particularly for those performing, not even the directors or, I mean, the directors, we can come to that conversation, but I do not think that some actors should be acting. And it might just be me, but I just feel I've seen a number of their films and it's not convincing enough.
In my own film.
It's not now, it's just general now. And sometimes I try to be very vocal with names. When I'm talking, I'll be like, this actor.
Don't mention them here while I'm here.
No, I'm not mentioning names. Don't worry, we're good. I mean, no names there. But what do you think, or what is your process for selecting actors? I know you've worked with a number of people and there's some persons that you've worked with a number of times. Yeah. You know, so I would easily say you probably love the performance, or you feel like you're the best person to interpret the role. But then, what is your opinion on, or what's your process of selecting actors for your films? And the ones we've gotten like repeated, screen time. Why do you do that? Okay,
so like I said, if I write something, I'm coming from a place of energy.
Yeah.
When I write something, I put myself in the entire film, and then I send it to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to beg you for a feedback.
Okay.
I feel like I can sense your energy the same way you come. I just read the script. I'm not asking to like the film, but I just sent a script a few weeks ago to a veteran actor. And he was like, I'm on the plane, send it to me, let me read it. And he read it in maybe 45 minutes. And he sent me a long note. I can't afford him, but I'm looking for the money to afford him. That is how I know you've connected. Because if you give feedback, it means that there's something that you see, you want to do it. There's something about the film. There's an energy right there. And that's how the first step is, can you do the film?
Yeah.
So if you cross that T and then you get the script, this is the feedback. That is very key for me. The second thing is when I do a lot of repeats is people like Bisola Yola. Beyond the screen, we have a relationship outside of that. And I see a lot of, when people are out behind the cameras, they play. I see a lot of, I like onions. Yeah. And so if I keep peeling you and there's something new, you are always my go-to person every time. It's because I want to. So it's almost like with Muri and Co with Kunle. Kunle and I in 2020 did a film called Kiosk Kole. I'm not sure how many people saw the film. He was a phone seller and I was the actor and he sold me a bad phone and we got into a lot of trouble. It was how we decided that he should play the character. And so when I was trying to sell him to Inkblood, I said, no, I had to send them the footage. I said, I know, because we've done this, but just that not so many people saw this small film that we did years ago. And that is how it is, because we spend so much time together while we're playing, while they're setting up. I'm watching you and you're doing certain things. I'm like, okay, I can write something, and you can. That's my process, really. Why I work with people repeatedly. It's just, what else can you do? People like with Jessica Momiwa. Jessica had done something else for me, Chim Khalifa, and she was somebody else, and I'm like, and she mimics her mother a lot. And I'm like, come on, mimic your mommy again in this film, and that's it. So I'm just always very watchful. I'm very observant, even when people are not, and I see that you can do it. And same thing with every young actor that I see. Even when we do auditions, we're like, say this, do it this way, do it this way. I'm able to know and then I can feel your hunger, because I'm still hungry. So we need to be on that same hunger level for us to deliver 100%, to the film.
Right. So it's safe to say that you write sometimes with certain people in mind.
Yes, sometimes I do. Sometimes there's nobody in mind.
Okay.
We just, and then like I'd written something and then I saw this actor last year and I said to her, my God, I didn't even think you had this much depth. Again, social media or the kind of films that actors subject themselves to also does not allow people to see how really good they are. Right. So this female would never have been my top 100 because I just thought she was flimsy.
Yeah.
You know, every time it was fine girl, long hair, lashes. And then we did this film and I said, my God, I had...
Muri and Co?
No, another film that we're doing later in the year. And I said, we need to make a film together because the depth, the range, and please stop making all these films that don't show how good you are. Because again, that is how Nollywood sort of operates. Fine girl, fine shape. They just sort of stereotype you in that. And you really as an actor sort of need to, and while you are still growing, you really can't choose. But once you hit a place where you think that you're in a position where I can say no, and I can say yes to something I prefer. And even for actors, money should not always be a deciding factor. Sometimes you make there's a film that doesn't pay well, but that film shows your range. Take it and push that film. Not for the producer, but for yourself. You know.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with Chimeze Imo. I'm sure you know him. You worked with him before.
Yes, I have.
And Chimeze mentioned, they talked about working with directors, and he said something that a director can make you look good and make you look bad as an actor. Now, as a director yourself, have you ever been in a situation where, because I feel like it'd be easy for you to just cast someone that make the person look bad. You know, what is your process working with actors, aside giving them the scripts now? Because I think to a large extent that how good an actor does on set is the director. If they can push you to an extent where you bring your very best, I think it's the director more than you, which is what you mentioned about.
I think it's both ways, really. If it's there, it's there. If it's not there, there's no magic. There's nothing the director wants to resurrect. You know, and then again, you know, certain roles require. We just did a film with Blossom, again with Jessica. You know. And when we did the film, I knew that, okay, they were both great actors. But we got to a particular scene and I regretted having them because both of them had just suffered loss. And the film was about loss. So in that moment, they got lost. There was something they could tap into. And that's why I'm going with this conversation. If there's an actor and there's nothing to tap from, sometimes it's a bit difficult, which is why conversations before the film starts, before you even go into production are very, very key. Timmy and I had lengthy conversations because Timmy is fine boy, Timmy is baby boy, Timmy is soft life, better life. So we had like, you go suffer, and I need to pity you, and I'm an empath. So if I don't believe, it's so easy for me to cry. If I believe that you're going through pain and you're crying, I automatically will connect to your pain. And so maybe again, that is what helps my directing because I'm an empath. I know if I believe it, then everybody else that's watching it believes it. You know. I
mean, talking about Better Life, I say it every now and then. You know, I mean, I had my views on Timini as an actor, but I think Better Life is one of the best films it's done to date as an actor in terms of performance and range. I think I watched the film, I'm like, okay, this is the film, you know, compared to some other films. But anyways, let's go to this now. Muri and Co. First thing, when I saw the trailer and I saw Kunle Remy, what came to my head was Nino. What came to my head was, why not Nino? But then I think you sort of explained why Kunle Remy. And I think I've not seen Kunle Remy in that light before. I see a lot of his films. I don't think I've seen
him so it's just a shock value. Before.
But I need to know the process for selecting people for Muri and Co.
I'll start with the little boy. I'd seen him in, oh God, what's his name's film? That film with the alien. And I also had seen him at a forum, Kids Can Act, and he was just a standout guy. And I think that in Muri and Co, follower is the revelation of, because a 10-year-old boy acting with all of these powerhouses and he was not lost in there. I think that is huge kudos for that little boy. Femi Jacobs, Bisola, they were pretty, I worked with all of them they were not difficult for us to sort of handpick. I think the major challenge was who was going to be Muri. And I wanted somebody that would shock the audience.
Did not come to your mind?
No.
Oh, why?
Because that is like picture perfect all over again. You know, so no, it didn't even cross my mind. You know, but I also wanted somebody that was going to. So when I told Kunle again, and I think also almost like with Nino, nobody believed he could do it. Even the director didn't think he could pull it on. And so I kept saying, Nino, I believe she feel me. And so I think that challenge. So when I told Kunle, I said, nobody thinks you can do this thing, no. It's only me, oh. And then he was like, so even on the set Bisbisala was telling me he was always talking to the mirror and was trying to figure out. And then again, there was this guy on set, Africa, who was like a dialogue coach for all of the street slangs. Because then you understand that this street slang, we are not speaking anything though. I think it's heavy vocabulary. So he was there sort of coaching him. And I think he threw himself. And I'll tell you something for a fact. Because Muri was such a mess. Kule would come to set, he never had his bath. So he always looked as if he just woke up from sleep with all of the marks on his face. He always just looked, in fact, he always looked dirty. He always made sure that he looked like a miscreant. And it's just testament to how far he was willing to go. And so we didn't regret, but it was quite a sell. He was fine boy, romantic guy, and then he was doing, again, it was good for him.
Yeah. I mean, good. I haven't seen the film, and I really just want to see the film. But when I saw it, I saw the trailer. I thought it was impressive, but then I'm looking forward to another simple story.
Yes, it is simple, I guess, but it's simple. I'm excited about the story because again, there's just one emotion that is out. You're not gonna cry in this one. Okay. I tried. People complain about having to cry in all my films, so. We are trying for you not to cry because we have another film that you're gonna cry a whole lot.
So, is that coming out this year too?
We don't know yet. Again, because I like to just do films that are from really, really deep places of human experiences. It's just always important that as human beings, we go through laughs, we go through our highs and our lows and our ugly. And I just want to show that every time in the film. But with Muri and Co, it's such a beautiful adventure between this petty thief and this young boy. And their connection, the unlikely friendship, that was formed after he stole a car and the boy happened to be in the car.
Okay. Now, can I pick your brain on something real quick about the Oscar situation in Nigeria, in Nollywood rather? So we've been given entrance for like 3 years now, and it's sort of been difficult to get a representation of the Oscars. What have you thought about it? Or you're not even have you thought about the whole Oscar thing and maybe why 3 years down the line we still don't have a representation, and we're the biggest film producing nation in Africa? I think we had representation last year. It was into nomination and then it was dropped. Yes. Okay. I think the first 2 years we're not really clear on what the criteria was. But now we're clear on what it is. So, which is why Mami Water at least got selected, but ultimately, unfortunately, was dropped. But at least it was selection. I think that is the new space that we're in. There is no hurry. Unfortunately, we see a lot of stuff in Nigeria as competition, as it's almost like with the awards. Some people just make films for the awards, and that's what it is. I just think that let's focus on the Oscars has come knocking, and I think that is a huge win. Right. The next step would be getting in. It doesn't mean that we might win, but at least let's tick all of the requirements and then get us in there. Okay. All right. Now, because we're rounding off now, I like to always play a game with people I bring on the show. I like to always, I want us to make a film on the spot, right? Make a film. Yeah, make a film. So I'm going to give you a story, and you would just tell me, you would suggest the title for it and suggest actors for it. Okay. Yeah, on the spot. So this is it. So there's a story. There's a guy that's trying to talk to this lady that he likes, right? And he's shy and all this kind of thing, right? And he has two friends. So one is telling him to, push, go forward. And the other is saying, nah, don't. She wouldn't agree to you. You're not a type. So first, what sort of title would you give the film? Love in Progress. Love in Progress. Okay. 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 Now for the guy who likes this girl, what's the guy going to be? Maybe like, is he geeky? Is he nerdy? Yeah, he's shy. I mean, he's shy. You obviously can't approach a lady. If he's shy, maybe like a Chimeze Imo, who would do very well in that. Okay. What about the lady? She's all out there. She's sassy, not as class, so Sassy. I don't know these Gen Z actors.
I really don't know how this Gen Z actors. So maybe I'm going to just go with the easy one, Genoveva.
Genoveva, okay. Okay, now who's the friend who's going to say go and who's the one who's going to say don't try it?
We can do the one who's like the, maybe like an Olumide Oworu.
Okay, which is Olumide playing?
The one who's the support.
Oh, the support, okay.
And then who's against. Why is he against again?
Now, because it feels like you guys she won't say yes to you. Like, you guys are just different people. Like, the class levels is really low.
We are Timini Avi.
You see, we just made a film. Yeah, Love in Progress, produced by Dami, directed by Biodun. So yeah, wait for it. It's coming to wherever you are going to watch it. Anyways, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much.
This was a good interview. And I'd like to tell everyone, go and watch Muri and Co. Let me know what you think, okay? I'm not going to make a decision until I see the film. Right. Am I allowed to do that?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, great. Thanks for watching, guys. It's a wrap. Thank you.